to talk about energizing your career through strengths. Kara, how are you doing today?
I am fantastic. How are you doing today, Kristin?
I am good. Man, it's another great Monday.
Is the pollen a little moved on down there in Texas?
It is, and I got to tell you, it's in that perfect 70-degree weather that is the reason why we live in Texas this time of year. This is like that gorgeous time, and from about February until May.
Nice.
That's why we live here. Yeah.
Yeah. We're similar. We're loving it. Absolutely loving it. So.
Yeah. Well, and today we're talking about context as our strength. So do you want to give a visual on context?
Sure thing. The visual that I came up with is the History Channel. And yeah, it's number 27 for me. So it offers insight for me that I'm not all that into the History Channel. So like it's starting to make a lot more sense. How about for you?
Oh, it's number 30 for me. So yeah, it's not a huge concern for me. History, it's fun. It's so funny because my husband will spout off all these things that happened in history. And I was like, yeah, I think I remember hearing about that. And I enjoyed hearing about it when I heard about it, but I don't remember it.
I'm the same. It's like new information every time. Oh, that's interesting.
I know, right? So we get to hear the same stories over and over and enjoy them every time.
Exactly.
So let me give you the definition of context. It's people who are especially talented in the context theme enjoy thinking about the past. They understand the present by researching its history. So yeah, so let's talk about how context shows up in work.
Sure thing. Yeah. So what I was thinking about for my current situation when I'm talking with clients and potential clients, hearing their KPIs, the key performance indicators that they want to improve, it is helpful to hear from their perspective how they got to where they currently are and why they want to improve what they're saying that they want to improve. So that is helpful. How about for you?
I would say, people that are high in context, they get confident in making decisions by looking at the past and the decisions that were made in the past. So, I think it's really important for them to draw from past experiences and really reflect. And I also think that they're the people in an organization that are great to go to say, how did we do it in the past? What went right, what went wrong, because they do remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's how I see it. I also see them as asking a lot of questions to the team to say, okay, what did we do in the past? Like they're curating all that information. So they're really good, I think, at reminding people, let's not make the mistakes of the past.
Exactly, along with why reinvent the wheel, like a combination of the two. If it was working.
That's true. Yes, you're right. And if it's not broken, why are we fixing it?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I've worked with. I know you were often out there. You have quite a few around you with context theme high, and I can only think of one. So my apologies out to y'all if there's more of you out there, but I can think of one. And sure enough, she was a history teacher, and when she came on board with us, and very much what you're saying, like asked tons of questions, and I loved it. Like, so wow, she's really just came in ready to help out, one to know all right, moving forward, how to be most efficient with what we're about to do.
Yeah, and I know the people around me that are high in context are typically they love things like reading historical fiction or reading about past wars that we've been in. Just how did we get to today? What happened? So it's really interesting to have those people in my life, because whenever I do have a question about that, I'm like, I don't know, why do we do that? They're usually right there to the quick to say, oh, I've read about that, let me tell you about it.
Right. And crucial for our trivia teams. So when we're allowed to play trivia again, that's right. We appreciate y'all.
My husband, by the way, awesome at trivia.
Ace in the hole. I love it.
So Kara, what should our friends high in context, when should they raise their hand in business?
Yeah, so when I came up with, again, 27, so this is not me, and I've seen my fellow friends, it makes sense to me now, like, oh, you probably were high in context. Those opportunities, especially when making a pitch to a potential client, or one of those situations where you can offer up the portion of the presentation where it's that timeline. This is how we got to where we are, or history, herstory, zerstory has taught us all of this, so this is why moving forward in this way makes most sense. How about for you?
I've got two. One is a little bit broader, and I think it'd probably suit most people, but kind of to what you were speaking to is during presentations, putting together case studies for the team. Something that you can keep drawing from over and over to go, hey, how did we do that? And it's in writing, and they put it into writing. So kind of keeping that historical timeline of what happened. But I've also seen people that are high in context do special projects for companies, like they need to put together the history of the company. I was working for this one company that they actually did a full installment in their corporate office of all the history that had happened. And it was really cool to look at. And I loved that somebody else wanted to do that, because I wouldn't truly be hugely interested myself in doing the actual work.
Right.
But the guy that did it was perfect for it.
Yeah. And when you just offered that up, the comparison, like this person really got into it and it turned out beautiful versus like I could have, but doesn't fill my cup. And what you point, what you really put your finger on is that level of energy. And that's why we come together every Monday, is like, what truly energizes you? And if it doesn't, which means that it's probably not in your top 5, top 10, create that space for somebody else, because that does energize them. And that really did, so, and it's one of those moments, I find anyway, it's one of those ones like, wow, you actually really enjoy that. Like,
right.
I never want to do that thing. I'm so happy you're happy doing it. So it just makes us stronger for sure.
No, you're right. So Kara, you're so right, Kara, if I can say that right. Yeah, it's like really be on the lookout for those people that fit that right job, right? Or that right project. Yeah. And by knowing their strengths, it's easy to do.
Yeah, just thinking like if nothing else, make the list of all the things that you don't like to do, that you're currently on your plate, and have conversations with maybe the person that you've never even chatted with on the other side of the building. That might be a perfect fit for you. Who knows?
I love it. All right. We are good to go. Thank you so much for another week of energizing your career through strengths, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, friend.